Hi everyone, welcome. So this training is being streamed live and thank you everyone for showing up on time. It's going to be a simple 30-minute training. So we're starting right on time and then I will allow a few minutes for conversations. But today the aim is to go through a variety of the types of content that we can create on social media. And I always ask a question that if content could speak, what do you think content will say? Most of the time, we are afraid to post. We question ourselves. We are scared of looking stupid. We are scared of looking foolish when it comes to promoting our business. The content we're going to be focusing today on is more that it's not your selling content, and I would explain. When you're selling online, you're meant to do a couple of things. We want to create a magazine that is interactive, that is entertaining, and that sells. Nobody comes on social media to say, today I want to buy. People come on social media to have fun, to relax. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to pull them, you're trying to distract them and make them focus on what you want them to focus on, which is your content. So today's question will just be answering the question. Today's content or session will just be answering the question, what should I post online? Now, let me know in the comments if you have a business or you're managing a page or you're a social media manager. So I will know by show of hands, or let's just do the comments to know the people that we have in the class. I think we have a couple of people that are coming to these sessions for the first time. So if you're the first time, my name is DK Jonah and I'm the creator of DIY branding. DIY branding simply tells people how to do it themselves. And I say do it yourself because no one is coming to take the job for you. No one can promote your business as much as you can. And no one saw your vision. You saw the vision. You know what you saw about your business. And your aim is simply to get people to see what you saw and engage with them. When it comes to content, there are different types of content we can post on social media. The first is promotional, what you sell. Now, like I said, I offer services, social media management services. Thank you very much, Dante. Like I said, I want to know the mix of people we have in the chat. So please let me know what you do. If you're a sole proprietor or you have a business, state your business. If not, then tell me what you do. So I always say this, and the reason I'm making this training as simple as possible is I don't want you to be distracted by the slides. I want you to actually focus on content creation. Content has to be created by you. But we talk about the fact that some people offer services, some people offer products. But what we want to do is sell on a platform, and it is marketing. But you want a situation where the social media pages you are creating for clients moving forward is a magazine that they can engage with people on. So you're looking at interactive content and a few of the types of content I will be talking about now. When we say promotion, it's not just because you have a sales or going on. It's about what you do. What do you bring to the market? We call it your plug on our team. But promotional content are basically what you sell, what you offer in different ways. So before you start posting, you want to know all the goods and services that you offer and in the different ways that you offer them so that they do not distract you from your targets when you are selling. If you do not know the benefits of your products, you're going to be selling rubbish, or you're going to be very responsive and reacting negatively when people ask you questions. So that's what we call our promotional content. And we'll go into more about how to sell online in another training. Now, if you look at the table above, I have different types of calendars. You have to decide how you want to show up online. Either you want to post daily, twice daily, 3 times daily, and 4 times daily. It depends on what's going on. What I always tell people is when people are online, but also if you are training as a social media manager, try and post 2 to 3 times daily to train yourself to show up for your brand. And you do not want to only post products that are selling your posts that are selling your products or your services. You want to have a mix of content. So today we'll be talking about what are these mixes that you should have apart from I sell clothes. If you're a dry cleaner, I offer dry cleaning services. What else apart from dry cleaning services can you post on social media? And the content I'm giving you here is not limited to Instagram. You could have it as your blog post, your emails, every single thing you do can be derived from the content that we'll be talking about. Let's start up with collaborations. Collaborations are amazing. Emma and I collaborate a lot. You want to be able to collaborate with people that you can gain from their audience. And when I look at collaborative content, most times people think about, oh, what is in it from me? They do not want to collaborate or post about somebody else. If somebody has a complimentary service, I can talk about their service. If somebody has done something incredible for me, I can talk about them. The way I always mix the collaborative content into my content strategy is to think of Man Crush Monday and Woman Crush Wednesday. And that's where we get to partnership. It's similar to collaborative, but with that one, it's paid partnership. So with collaborations, it must not be paid. It could be a situation where you think about those in your industry, think about those that are doing well, and you talk about them. That brings their audience to your page. So it could be talking about someone that you know has a book launch and you're like, oh, I've read this person's book. You're talking about it in a way that it's not just saying this is our Man Crush Monday. I want us to change the way we write our captions. I want you to think about conversations. When someone is reading what you post, they're having a conversation with you. Do you want them to just read and pass and keep scrolling? Or do you want them to continue what they've started, read beyond the first 3 lines and continue the conversation with you to the extent that they can comment? Another thing we've talked about is partnership. Like I said, it's similar to collaborative, but this one is when somebody is paying you. So we are calling those partnership content because you're getting paid. You could say it's paid partnership or free partnership, but there seems to be a monetary return. So with collaborations, there may be no monetary benefits when you're thinking of your content calendar based on our own 90-day content calendar and our clarity roadmap. But we call that collaboration and partnerships, the CP of content. User-generated content, I've talked about this many times, but for those joining for the first time, I would explain. User-generated content is what others have said about you. It's highlighting what people have done. So for example, if you are selling turkey as Amanu and somebody buys your turkey and says, I visited Amanu's store and the store was clean, that is user-generated content. You want to make 10% of your content at least user-generated. That is content that wasn't generated by you, but by others. You need to look out for this content and sometimes request for it. I have a way of asking people for feedback and sharing this feedback. Sometimes share with their permission, and if you have to close their faces, do this. But you need to talk about what others have said about you. When you say it is seen as bragging, when others say it is seen as feedback, you want to get feedback from people on how the services you have created have affected them positively. You want to see it, and when people share it, think about it. When Coca-Cola did this stuff where people were writing their names on Coke bottles, everybody wanted to take a Coke bottle with their name and have a picture with it. That was marketing for Coke. How do we take that to our small businesses? Is asking people to share what they've done. Some people share on their stories. Oh, I bought this outfit from this person and I liked it, and they tag you. Appreciate those people, but encourage them to share those type of posts. Then value added and educational posts. Now, this post is your authority builder. Remember, I said I'll be going off script sometimes. It's your authority builder. It's the content you create that people will recognize you for your what. It's about adding value, showing people that you are qualified to speak on the subject. So for example, someone said, oh, okay, I will come back to your question on Yechi. We have a publisher and we have a physiotherapist. So with a psychotherapist and a publisher, If you're looking at user-generated content or value-added content, it's educational content that could help people know what they are going through and answer questions they are asking. So, for example, you think as a psychotherapist, what are the questions people ask me all the time? Or what are the things people will Google? Remember, social media, people are searching for something sometimes. And when they come across your content is answering that question, but it's answering it in a way that they will understand that you're an authority. So the shortcut we always use is questions, answer, objections, and interest. Think about the questions people are asking. What are the problems people are facing? So as a psychotherapist, you know the problem people are facing. As an author, as a publisher, you understand that the main problem people may have will be dealing with writer's block. They may want to know, how do I choose a genre to write in? Oh, I've started my book and I've missed it halfway. What do I need to do? The content you are creating will be in line with what they are going through, problems they are facing, questions they are asking. Definitely, you should include discounts and seasonal offers into what you do. So what we are doing here is these are all the types of content that can be on your content calendar. Remember, you're creating a calendar so you have a good mix of content on your social media pages, on your website, or even the bulletins that you send to people and the topics and conversations you have. This could guide the live sessions you have if you decide to go live. Okay, let's talk about questions a little bit. Since you want to try and get insider information, so sometimes you ask engaging questions in your stories if you use the stories features. And if you want to get people's attention, ask a question, start a conversation with them, start a conversation that will be open-ended and not close-ended. Sometimes when we're on social media, we feel we need to preach to people, we need to use big words. No one is using big words when they come on social media. Come down to their level, but do not dilute the information. Think of someone like Jordan Peterson. Why do people recognize him and connect with him? It's because he is raw and authentic. He is really answering the questions people are asking. Sometimes they don't even know that they have that question at the back of their mind. And he does a video where he just answers that specific question that you know it's the nail on the head. Think about your target audience. Who do you create for? Who do you serve? What problems are they facing at this point in time? And how do you want to help them? Sometimes people talk about coming on timely topics. When it comes to timely topics, I will say tread with caution, because some topics like Amber Heard and what's his name again? Johnny Depp's issue. When Amber came out with op-ed, many people jumped on it and they were calling Johnny names. Now the roles are reversing and people are having to take back what they've said. Timely topics, trend with caution. Always be objective and not subjective, but give your opinion. And if you're someone that does not mind bulls and going back and forth with people, then use that to start conversations that will lead people back to your brand. Sometimes we think that, oh, people don't come on social media, people don't engage with my content. I have a question for you. If you were not you, would you engage with what you're posting on social media? If you were not you, the way you present your brand or represent your brand currently, would you patronize yourself? And you don't need to answer that question because it's a question that you have to answer honestly. If your answer is yes, kudos to you. But if your answer is no, kudos to you also, because you can make changes with the type of content you're pushing out there. We're not just talking about content that will be vague, but you are answering specific problems. You're talking about timely topics. You are doing, oh, these are the tools I think you need. And it must not be tools that you're going to get paid for. If you read a book and you feel that your audience will benefit tremendously from that resource, or you see a podcast, then talk about it. Don't say it's only when people pay me that I will talk about things. But you need to understand that the content you are creating is not just for you. Do not be tempted to sell all the time. There's a temptation to want to sell. Sell, 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 sell. That's what people tell you. But there are people that will tell you that you need to build a relationship with people. How do you build a relationship? How do you get people to know you, like you, and trust you? It's by having a combination of content that inspires them, motivates them, and it sometimes entertains them. When it comes to memes and entertaining content, people are very scared of using memes, but those are the type of content that you would now engage with. Think about entertaining content like memes. Memes can be used in a way that is not insulting, but in an entertaining way that will make your clients laugh, that will make them let their guards down. We always talk about storytelling, about how it's important to infuse storytelling into what you do. It's about bringing that feeling of nostalgia. If content could speak to you right now, it would tell you to wake up and start sharing. Sharing what? It's a combination of things, not just one thing. The temptation to sell all the time is high because we all want to make money. I don't think there's anyone listening here that doesn't want to make money. Everybody wants to ensure they're getting returns on investment. But sometimes we are tempted to say, oh, we posted, nobody engaged with it. That means I won't post again. And I'm here to tell you that that shouldn't be the case. You need to put your content out there, put your post, share your story, do something that would humanize the brand. And that's where we talk about behind the scenes. How many of us are authentic when we're showing behind the scenes? And how many of us are over raw and over authentic to the extent that we are just being silly and showing the bad sides of our brand? When we're saying be authentic, that doesn't mean that your background should be disorganized all the time. Yes, show the messy side, show the real side, but also you also think about if somebody was coming into my store and I sell food and I'm showing this much mess, would they want to buy from me? So authenticity and everything we are saying you should do come with caution, that you understand that behind the scenes also has to be prepped a little. Get better lighting. Let light into your scene. Don't just fold up and say, oh, no one is showing for my content, I need to dance. I always tell people, dancing is not a strategy. Dancing is not a strategy. When we go to the categories of value-added content that I will share with you now, you understand that it's about answering people's questions and meeting their needs. So this is an example for content for Instagram. You could have quotes, you could have single image with graphics, you could have like a micro blog, which is 8 to 10 posts, a carousel post. Why do we call a carousel post a micro blog? Because it's leading somewhere. You won't just get random things, say, oh, I've created a carousel post and put random pictures and images. I will give an example of a dry cleaner. A dry cleaner wants to teach people how to manage their whites and maintain their whites with vinegar. It's not just going to put everything in the first slide. You're going to think about, how do I want to distribute this thing? I want to tell people to separate their whites from their colored, that whites are good, whites can be maintained, but these are a few tips. So you're leading people down the line, and that's why we call it a microblog. Microblogs are good for brands, and I recommend having 1 or 2 carousel posts weekly that are quite researched and will help your target audience and make them save them. And this is with regards to Instagram, in case those people are wondering. People say, what kind of pictures should I take? If you have travel pictures, if you have speaking engagements, you can do that. Next time, we'll talk a little bit more about videos, but I would just say this. Your videos can be short, 30 seconds, long, midi, 1 to 3 minutes, and 3 to 10 minutes. With the short one, you want to go straight to the point and give them this thing. You're not teaching anything in those short videos. You're just grabbing attention quickly, snapping them out of it, and making them see what you want to see. But you're not teaching something that is in-depth. You're just making them ask themselves questions. Sometimes we want to go too much into it, our short videos. Don't put too much into it. Think less is more. And I'm going to pause here for a second and see Onyechi's question first before I go to the user-generated content, the types of, value-added content we can create. Onyechi said, how can we use user-generated content and turn it into leads or future leads? people believe what others say. Now, when people give reviews, you have people that give reviews and tell you how a product does. You believe them. Most of us would never buy a product or a service without checking for reviews. I don't know about you. Is there anybody yet that checks reviews before buying products or before using a service, or thinks about what a restaurant, people have said about a restaurant before going into it? That's what user-generated content does for you. It brings leads because it makes people trust your brand and want to patronize your brand. Think about it. Somebody goes to like a Park Tropicana and you see the place. You're like, wow, I want to visit that place. That is bringing leads. And most of the time, those contents can be retargeted and used as ads to meet more people. But sure, that's the way people use user-generated content. When people search for your brand, they want to know what others have said, not just what you've said. There's a temptation to make sure your calendar doesn't include other things. But what I'm saying with the categories and types of content, it has to be a mix. So people said, oh, Dawker, I don't know what to do with value-added content. How should I teach people without sounding like a teacher? What do I need to do? I said, okay, microblogs are great ideas, but think about how to. So we have a couple of people, so I will use examples from the people that I've written. So, okay, for Dante, he said, I offer social media services. So how to run a social media page, how to write a blog post, how to sell online. Those are how to define your brand. Those are the type of content that he is creating that will show you that he is an authority in his field. So it's simply a brand that is telling somebody out, a post that is telling somebody how to do something, but because he can tell you how to do it, you are more inclined to trust him to do it for you because you don't have the time. So let's take a case study, for example. If I'm just going to go to the next person. So we offer self-publishing and author visibility services. Okay, you are telling people that we offer self-publishing. How many people have you helped to self-publish? What were they before you met them, and what happened to them at the end result? So that is you telling people that have ideas that are saying, oh, I just have a creative idea, I don't know how to publish. You have a case study, a very, very detailed case study that is showing your clients how they went from zero to hero, how they are the hero of the journey, and how your services and your unique style has helped them go from not having a book to self-publishing and selling those books. And so it's not just, many people say, oh, authors publish books, but they don't make money. You then have a case study that says all our authors that publish their books sell out their books. That is what you're doing in your content strategy. You are adding much more to it than just saying we sell books. We will teach you how to write. Come for our creative writing class. All those things are good. But more important is when you humanize the brand and create information that would help people. So let's go to the next person on the list. So we've got, so for those wondering, I'm looking at the chat and responding to the chat. So I'm a psychotherapist, a medical doctor. I offer both products and services. All right, so information about the products and services you have, maybe what you are tempted to do. But what are the information and the details that people that are supposed to use? Okay, so I know that you deal with people with chronic pain. How do I pace myself? So you give me realistic tips of pacing myself as a carousel post. Say, this is what you need to pace yourself. You need to understand that chronic pain is lifelong. What are the information that we need? We go into doctors' offices and we are overwhelmed with the information. How do we handle doctors' visits? Now you are helping me without even selling to me, because you've given me information that I can use to improve my next doctor's visit. And when I think of a pain specialist, you come to mind. Most girls that suffer with menstrual cramps, when they see somebody that talks about it, that says, oh, you use hot water bottles, this is what you do, this is what you do. It is informative, but it is transformational, because maybe you may say, oh, they can Google that and find it. Add it to your own content strategy. Personal research. I talk about the fact that I train social media managers and I help brands find the right fit for social media managers for them. I can talk about my personal research on how that has affected me. I did a research in my planner where I talked about the bad effects of going viral. When you fake going viral, what will happen? Most people come to me and say, Dalkora, I want to go viral. And my response is, after you go viral, what next? Do you have any team behind it? Do you want to be a one-hit wonder? Or do you want your brand to sell? So that personal research I have done can also be used as content. And that's about repurposing content that we'll go through later on. But industry research, what are the industry papers that have come out? What do you want to say about them? You could talk about industry research, that's publications that just came up. For people that have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a new publication just came up in May that said, oh, it's something genetics. That is industry research. I can put my own take to it. And those are just examples of things. If you're not sure of what to do, get case studies and talk about it. Talk about your own personal development journey as you're talking, and do interviews with people and put it there, or look at other people's interviews and share your perspective. The thing with educational content is authoritative content, content that shows you know what you're talking about, that you are the go-to person for whatever you say you do, and they can come to you and ask you questions, and they are sure that the answers you give would transform the way they get things done. Now, let's go about brand awareness. This is your ask. How many of you have values for your brands? How many of you know what your brand stands for? How many of you know what you stand for as an individual? Most of us think about corporate social responsibility as only big words that big brands should use. But when it comes to brand awareness, who are you as a brand? What are your values? What is your voice? The way you speak, what will people know how you stand on a certain topic? People already know that when Instagram does a new feature change, they can look to me and they know that I will definitely have something to say about it. When it comes to Agbalimo season, I will definitely have something to say about it. But you think about brands like Wendy's, when they write, people understand who they are. You need to know who you are as a brand. Who are you? Why do you exist? Have you asked yourself this question? How do you want to be seen online? Why do you want to be seen at all? Why should people patronize you? You need to incorporate all these things into the message that you're putting out there. It's not just about, I am the best in my field and going off. Show us why you are the best. What do you stand for? What are you involved in? This can be incorporated into your content calendar and must be incorporated, I must say, because if you are only selling, people will get tired and they will scroll past. But you need to have conversations with people that would help them understand who you are. So yeah, I talk a little bit about a couple of things. I talk about conversations, I talk about connection. So we said we're creating educational content, we're doing brand awareness content, and now we want to have conversations with people. Are you telling people what to do in your content? Is your content strictly a conversational content that just tells somebody, oh, would you rather this or this? Are you a early bird or a night owl? Do you like coffee or tea? Are you this or that? Those simple conversation are content. Sometimes you think, oh, it's useless, but it gets people talking. It gets people having conversations with you. If we go later on in this document, I post a couple of conversations that I think you should be having with people. But think about filling the blank post. Caption this photo, give your people an opportunity to have conversations with you. Your call to actions can do that, but sometimes people don't scroll down to the end. So have some conversational posts in the midst of your content. And we talk about connection next, building that connection with people. You look at behind the scenes, like we talk about, let them know the customers, the employees and different people that work with you. Now, how should you divide all these things that I say. Some people say 20% promotional. Some people say 30% promotional. I will say do what suits you, but this is my recommendation. I've talked about different types of content that you can use for your brand, but you can take a screenshot of this page. This is what I will recommend. Number one, make sure you are selling. Yes, this video did not talk much about how to sell, but you are online to sell. Whether it's a product, it's a service, it's an offer, it's a freebie, it's a church, there is something promotional that you have. Make that 20% to 30% of your content. The rest can be a mixture of this content. And what I would like to say is think about how you can entertain without being a clown. Sometimes we want to take meme culture too far. We want to get inspirational content. We want to, but then we just lose focus of who we are. Remember what the question I asked, who are you as a brand? When you're doing your value added, your partnership, user generated, inspirational, your connection, conversational or brand awareness content, you still are thinking about who you are as a brand. And that's a question you should ask your bosses. If you're here as a social media manager, who are we? What do we do? What don't we do? What words do we use? What words don't we use? How do we want to be seen online? And that's a question you have to answer. How do I want to be seen? How do I want to be perceived? There's a difference because people's perception of you may be different from what you actually mean to say. People can see me as an extroverted, outgoing person, but actually I'm trying to make them understand that I just want them to post online. People can see you differently from your perception, but you can't control people's thoughts, but you can actually control how you share your information, your brand, and you connect with them. So this is just an example of a calendar that's just posting once a day that is taking all the types of content into consideration, into the mix. So it's not just promotional, but it's a mix of every single thing a brand will need to stay online. Remember, you're not selling all the time, but you are selling. You are building connections. You're inspiring people. You're still entertaining them while maintaining your integrity and your face, not looking like the clown. But you have a combination of entertaining, inspiring, and different types of content that just puts you in a better light. Like that, I didn't do slides for this because I wanted us to actually see the types of content that we are creating. I'm going to pause here for a bit to see if any other person has questions. Okay, what if there are negative reviews? You cannot, the thing sometimes we try and fake reviews. What if there are negative user generated content? How do you arrest it and perhaps turn it into a positive lead for a brand somehow? People expect a lot from social media managers. This is something some brands feel social media managers should magically do. I think if we're looking at the social media managers conversation, because your conversation is of twofold, that's a bigger conversation we need to have. Social media managers are not magicians. They do not magically appear and everything turns out well. You need to have a marketing strategy. That's why I said your promotional content is different from this. And when it comes to negative reviews, the first thing I will say is read the review and listen to what the person is saying. If what the person is saying is right and you need to own up, own up. Don't try to camouflage it and fake it. Sometimes that transparency would work because sometimes when you try to now twist it and insult the person back, it could backfire. So are there going to be negative reviews? Yes, but there are going to be positive ones also. If somebody says negative about me, there are 10 people that will rise up and say positive, but people will remember the negative, but they'll also remember how you responded to that negative review. What should your response be? I always say take a step back first before you. Okay, I always say take a step back before you respond. Never respond immediately. Take a step back before you respond, no matter how much the pressure is. Speak with the brand manager if you're in the organization. If not, speak with me. Speak with this team. We should have a way of responding to negative reviews, and it shouldn't always be insults. If we did the right thing, we say this is what we did. If we did not do the right thing, then we will own up to it and say, okay, at this point in time, we messed up, but we are looking to change who we are. Negative reviews can tear a business down. Cancel culture is real. And if you're trying to please everybody, you will please no one. But when you know who you are as a brand and what you stand for, when those negative review comes and you are authentic with it and you are like, okay, we're bad. This orders we sent out, they became out negatively. Oh, we're going to replace it. The person says that's not enough. But you try to make restitution. You cannot please everyone. Do the right thing always. But before you make a decision, take a step back, reflect, pause before you do that. I always say this, that I don't negotiate when I'm angry or broke or tired. I don't make deals at that point in time. And I don't respond to comments that are negative the same way. I would go to, that's why you are not supposed to be alone in this. If you are a part of the elite team, then you can have a conversation with the people that are on the Steadfast Creative Instagram group and say, I received this negative remark. How should I respond? Gauge people. Don't be quick to give. Everybody wants to clap back. Somebody does something, we think that clapping back is good. I always tell people I don't clap back all the time, but if I give you a response, you deserve the response you got because I have calculated my response and I'm willing to take the consequences that come with it. Sometimes we don't see all the things that went wrong, but the ones we see, we rectify. Any other questions before I go? Peace. I did not use brands as example for this one. I will use brands as example in more detail. So next time, if you send me a message in the chat, I would see it. On my WhatsApp, I try my best not to go to WhatsApp when I'm teaching. So if you had called me up on that earlier, I would have used your brand as an example, but we didn't do promotional content today. We just did basic content on collaboration, partnership, user-generated, and value added. Think about the educational content you want to create for your value, for your audience, and that's a good one. For new brands, what are the first steps we must make sure to get in views and followers? My answer may not be everybody's answer. And my answer is this: don't focus on views and followers. Don't focus on the vanity metrics. Focus on improving yourself. Focus on quality. Focus on quantity. Many people want to say, because views and followers do not convert to money, but followers do not buy. So if you are looking at views and followers, you can pay for views and you can pay for followers. The first step is, before you start getting those views, get your house in order. Do you have audience clarity? Do you have brand clarity? Do you have a content generation strategy that is in line with who you are? When you are trying to please people by getting their likes and their views and their followership, you lose sense of who you are as a brand. Yes, as a brand, you are here to serve others, but you are different for a reason. You were created for a reason. You came into existence for a reason, and do not lose focus of that. By chasing what we call vain metrics or vanity metrics, you lose focus, because you then start doing things that people want only, and then it becomes frustrating. Number one, who do you serve? You serve mothers, you solve a specific problem. What does your brand do well? Is your brand doing it well? Are you improving your services? Many times we do not know how we want to do something until we do it. So we may have an idea of start a YouTube channel, get subscribers, buy your camera. All those things don't work until you work, until you are willing to say, I am going to show up little by little every day, not just one day. Sometimes we think it's, oh, overnight. No, it's the little things you do every day. How are you improving your brand? What are the skills you are learning? What skills does your brand need to go to the next level? Have you defined what that level is? What is success for your brand? If success is your brand is views and followers, and you're not concerned about sales, then that's a different conversation. Thank you. Any other question? All right. So to recap, we are online. You have to choose your frequency. Once daily, twice daily, 3 times daily, or 4 times daily. If you are there to sell shamelessly, but don't only sell alone. Add a combination of other types of content into your mix. And once you do that, you're in a better position to win online or offline. All right. Yes, so you can just take a screenshot of this. For those of you that are struggling with writing captions, I'm going to end here if I get no more questions. But no questions to WhatsApp, please. Someone said, okay, captions, what do we do with captions? I don't like writing. I don't know what to write. I will say this is what I will tell everyone to do. Write several drafts. Take pen to paper and write. Write the impromptu stuff first. So the impromptu, the first thing that comes to your end when you want to put that picture, think about that first. Emma has talked to us. So people say write the hook first. Everybody gives you rules. But what you need to understand is you have to ensure that you are infusing the light-hearted nature in your tone. Try different things, cross-promote. There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to content generation. Do not be proactive. Plan to post and do not post in a hurry. That's where we end it. If you are trying to post in a hurry, you will always be reactive. And if you are not sure if your post is good, you can ask yourself these 4 questions. Is this caption helpful or informative? Is this caption inspiring? Am I giving people a reason or a way to respond? What we call a call to action. Does it explain who I am or what I do? It must not do all these 4 things, but you should do a combination of these things when you are creating content. And with that said, we've come to the end of today's session. If no one else has questions, any other questions? All right. So thank you, everyone,